Thank you so much, and please join Christian Petzold.
I have bought new shoes for this evening. And sometimes the white shoes are like sports guys in TV shows. They have always white shoes and always they have new ones. I have bought shoes also for Cannes, I remember. And when I was in the night before this premiere in Cannes, I have a headache because of stage fright, and I open in the night. I opened the cupboard from the hotel room, and I saw my new shoes I've bought there, and they are green, and they are because there was phosphor inside. Yeah? This was a joke by Puma, and then I thought, when I'm in the premiere of my own film with these shoes and everything around me is green, like a nuclear catastrophe. Yeah? So this is the thing. Okay.
I hope they're comfortable and that you don't have blisters.
No.
Okay.
So I have seen the last 6 minutes from the back, and it always reminds me of the big mistake I made during writing the script. These actors, I know them, most of them, for a long, long time, and they are very intelligent. Sometimes I hate intelligent actors. Sometimes. And 3 months before shooting, they visited me in my apartment, our flat. I have there as my office. I could say it's an office. And I know something. They want to tell me something. And I don't like 3 months before shooting that actors are coming, want to discuss with me the script and so. And so I let them in, I make a tea, yeah, and they're drinking the tea, and it was an atmosphere like as if they want to say like a divorce discussion, yeah. So I sit there, and then Paula always starts, yeah, and said, I have problems with the final scene, yeah? And I don't want to hear what you have to say. I said to her, this is the best scene I ever have written in my life. Yeah. So to cut everything up, and then she said, I don't understand, because in this script it's so she's there in the concert hall for her what do you call the examination? No. And then then the parents and the son are going back to their house, and they have this on the porch. They eat something, coffee and eggs, and then they jump up like in the scene where these neighbors are coming. But in this moment, she's standing there at the fence, yeah, after the concert. And in my script, I've written down a very pathetic last sentence, and she opens the gate and is intruder in the room of a family. Well, this was my last final, and I said to them, this is the best sentence I ever written in my life. Yeah? So, and so no discussion. They are leaving, yeah, a little bit depressed about my erection, and then when we are shooting the scene with Paula at the fence with a black, she's wearing a black coat and has a bag in her hands, and she's opened the gate like in the script. She's opened it, and the family is staring at her. I know this is complete shit. I know this. Yeah. So, but I don't say it to Paula and the guy because I'm too proud for this. So. Yeah. And then on the editing table, I have I saw it again, the shit, and then I have a 2-week depression. I take my bicycle and I'm driving through Berlin. I think what I can do, and then I have these 3 producers and have them for more than 30 years, and we are friends and they are loyal. And I went, the first time in my life, I went to them and said, I've made a mistake. No, you'd never make mistakes, but this is a real mistake. And then they said, we have 25,000 euros left, and we can do the final scene again. And then I have to make this phone call to Paula. Yeah? And Paula was very cool on the telephone. I know now a revenge will start. Can't survive. Yeah? And then she said, "It's good to do it again. It's very good that you say that you could make mistakes, and so you learn many things." And I stop it. I said, "It's okay. I have a 2-month depression behind me, and it's enough there." And then she said, "We have one problem. I'm pregnant 8 months." Yeah, and so that means she was pregnant during the shooting, but I haven't seen that. Yeah, and so I said, "But we just need your head." Yeah, your head and the cadrage. It's no problem. And she's laughing, and then we make this final pictures here in the apartment with her, and she's looking totally different. Yes, it was for the camera. And said, "What? She has a complete other skin, and this in this moment, I know this is great that she's pregnant in this moment. That because it's good for the story. She has a life of her own. Yeah? Also, Paula Beer has now a life of her own, and I never want to talk with her about this chapter of our life, but she was right. Yeah, and that's sometimes it happened that actors." Yeah, that's can. Yeah.
So glad you worked out for the movie. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions before we open up to the audience. In watching Miroirs and rewatching many of these older films that we discussed together, and there's a lot of time with Miroirs and the other film, but there's also something that I find very interesting in your work and the evolution of your work. Even in one way, we could think you're making sort of the same film over and over again, a variation of the same film. The way you see or you show politics or political movies have quite evolved. You had films that were openly political because they're dealing with political situation, political people involved in like crisis. And now it seems that the way you portray politics is very subtle. It's more in the way people are acting and living their life. And I was wondering if you could reflect a little bit about this evolution from your film and how you came to take the politics, openly politics away to insert it more in the people's life.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with the death of my friend Harun. We both are always talking because Harun was he called me Stalin's son. So when we have our Akashvili, it was my nickname, Akashvili. It's the son of Stalin, who died very early. But so we both are talking often, always about politics, about many things. Why? Because I said it. I think we discussed it. Why the American war is the Civil War. Yeah, this is the trauma of America. Why they have always lost their wars after the Civil War in Vietnam, South Korea, and Iraq. All civil wars are traumatic wars for the Americans. Therefore, we want to make a movie about that. Yeah? And so, after the death of Harun, it was a long time of grief. I lost my best friend, and in this time, something happened that I want to show. The politics in small groups. Yeah? And I have this idea that I want to see people sitting around a table for dinner and you feel something's happening. Yeah? Not just a fabulous thing or a thing of morality, it's also something to how we can survive in small groups in this time. This was one of my thinkings in my head. And it was, I think it was 2000 or so, and Harun loved this story, but I have to stay home. Harun was together with my wife in the movies, yeah? And I have to stay with the kids home. I like that, because then I can see when they are sleeping horror movies for myself. And I was there, and I want to see Evil Dead 2 or something like that. And And then my daughter is coming. She was 4 years old, and she's coming into the living room and says, "I can't sleep. Can I watch TV together with you?" And I have to switch off Evil Dead 2 because it's not good for her. And then I took something on TV, channel 3 or 4 or so, and there was a James Bond movie. And she said, "I want to see this." Yeah? And I hate James Bond movies. I like the music at the beginning, but then the rest I'm not interested in. Yeah? And then she saw this James Bond movie 10, 15 minutes together with me. She fell asleep, and she said, "I love James Bond." Yeah? So it was 4 years, and I thought, yeah? So you are not Ursula Andress, I thought. Yeah? And then I said, I asked her, why you like James Bond? I was a little bit disappointed about my daughter, yeah? And she said, he can destroy everything and never have to clean up. Yeah? And this I think was a very good definition of James Bond movies and why we see James Bond movies. And yet now, now she's 29, and she had seen this movie here during the Berlin premiere, and she came to me and said, "Why are you not making politic movies like Transit, Phoenix, and so on?" And I said to her, "This is a political movie," yeah? And she said no. And then I remind her to this James Bond story when she was 4, yeah? And I said, there are 2 kind of movies in the world, yeah? Nowadays. We have the movies about who shows destruction, yeah? And many of these movies I like very much, yeah? Because sometimes you need destruction to have fresh air and new energy, yeah? And sometimes and on the other hand, you have movies who shows the repair scenes, yeah? Family traumatized, society traumatized, people who wants to come back into life. Yeah? And so these 2 kind of movies. Yeah? And now in our political situation, where the right-wing governments all over the world try to create crisis everywhere, yeah? Because crisis makes us dumb. Yeah? I want to show people who try to repair something. Sometimes it's just a washing machine or dishing, but sometimes it's also a small society like a family. Yeah? I think she's convinced, but I'm really sure that when she came home and said, "Now I want to see a James Bond movie." But so.
I think the way you show manual work and the way people like fix things, build things, use their hand, is a political act, but it's also the way you're shooting it and the way you contrast it with people working in art, making music. Actually, no, making music is also manual. But sometimes you have a lot of, we hear music or we see paintings, and that's sort of a contrasting way. But I love the way you show the manual aspect, and I think it's a way of doing politics.
This is a fantastic question. Really,
is there a question?
No, there's a new one. I have to think new now. This is good. Yeah, it's in Centre Pompidou. I had a retrospective some years ago, together with the work of Haroun Farroukhi, who just passed away. Yeah, and this was a sad but also very sentimental and also happy days there. And so, yeah, and in the cinema there were the movies I made. And in the basement of Centre Pompidou, there are some things Haroun had made in the last years, loops of film history, and there was one loop, the expression of hands. Yeah? There was many scenes from the history of in the history of cinema where you can see hands and their expression. And most of these scenes are from the mute cinemas, but silent, not mute. Mute is silent movies. Yeah, silent movies. And his argument was, or his thesis was, that in the moment when the sound is coming, we have just dialogue, and dialogue means we have faces, yeah? and lips and the expression of the face, yeah? And we have lost the expression of the hands and the expression of bodies and so on. And this was very interesting. I saw this there the first time, and then I saw a movie from, I think it's a movie about an American movie about a girl who's 16, she's pregnant, and a musician adopted this unborn baby. And a very famous movie, I forgot. But this 16-year-old girl is totally, they don't know what, she doesn't know what to do. And the baby, she loves the baby, and she's too young and everything. And she came, in one scene, she came home, and her father's repairing a washing machine in the basement. And she's sitting there, and there was no discussion about the baby, about the pregnancy, about the musician, this dumb musician who is buying the baby, you can say, or adopt the baby. It's just the father, his hands, and he's repairing with his hands the machine, and the daughter is staring for many, many minutes to the hands of the father, and you know in this moment she can trust him, because he can work with his hands, and he has a sensibility for this machine and for the repairing. And this I remember when we showed this scene to the actors and said, so this family can do everything with their hands. They can paint fences, yeah? They can cook. They can smell and taste herbs and show everything. But they can't. They try everything to repair their souls, and this try to repair the souls is, I think, is a metaphor of the movie. So I spoke also with Paula Beer, but you know she doesn't believe me anymore.
I think the way you make the film also could be seen as not an act of resistance, but you use the same crew, you work with a set budget, and you keep, I think, more or less the budget. So it's a way of like making film, but also that reflects a political act and an act of like resistance, and they give you a budget, and you know what you're going to make within that budget.
Yes. 2 years ago, I was here in New York and at the Criterion, and I have to go into this closet. Closet? Yeah. So yeah, I never want to leave this closet anymore. I was there for after 30 minutes. They say now it's okay, and then say no, another 40 minutes, please. Yeah. It's by coincidence I grabbed some DVDs, and I have to make a comment to these DVDs, yeah, or the Blu-rays. And the first I took, they cut it out later, was Ocean 11 by Soderbergh. Yeah? And I like it. I like Soderbergh, this movie. And in this moment, I have this idea. I like movies of groups of people who are doing something, bank robbing, yeah, or making music, yeah. So and why in my movies are always just two people, yeah, yeah. And I want to have a drummer, I want to have a guitar, a bass player now. Yeah, this was happening in the closet of Criterion. Yeah, so I want to make, and it has something to do that I mistrust myself that I don't have the skills to show 8 people around a table. Like, and I read that Visconti, when he filming a dinner of 8 people around a table, he had a rehearsal for 2 months. Yeah? So, and I want to have 2 months too, but it's not possible. And so, in this moment, I thought I want to do this. I want to show groups. Yeah? So, and I want to have a band, and I want to show how they. Yeah. So, and it started there. Is that the answer? I forgot the question. No.
It's the way you make your film.
So, and behind the camera, we are the same. Why the things, the story we tell could be a reflection of the work behind the camera. Yeah. So, and I'm not a director who's very. I'm not Putin behind the camera. Yeah. And I try to be collective, but not when the actors are coming 2 months before shooting. This I don't like. Yeah. So, but I like it, and we discuss everything there. but not in like in '68 we discuss until it's dead. Yeah? It's so how we can do it. Where's the position of the camera? Questions of morality, questions of money too. How we and there was one during the whole shooting. The happiest moment for me was when we had this house doesn't exist. This is really one of the ugliest houses I ever seen in my life, and we changed everything. The roof, the porch, it doesn't exist. Yeah? Everything was made by us. And 2 weeks before shooting, the actors and I we came to this house, and I said, this is the house of the family. Yeah, there was this tree and the benches and the fence, the half fence was white, and then I sit down on a small chair in the garden, and I saw all the actors going through the house for hours. Yeah, and they watched and looked and touched the things, and Paula's there on the bench, and Enno is on the porch, and then they go around for hours. Yeah? And I watched them and said, and then the producer said, "What are they doing there the whole time?" Yeah, so, and I said, "No, they started to get a family, and they started to find their identity in the house." And then during the shooting, then later, when there's this scene on the porch when they're eating this plum cakes, yeah, I asked them who's sitting where. Yeah, so there was no problem for them. They know that the father is there, the mother is on the other side, near the kitchen. Yeah, so they find like a band. They find their places, and we behind the camera too. This is. You're right. The closet of Criterion was a really fantastic start in a new life. Yeah?
Are they inviting you back?
I was a second time in the closet, and this was in Toronto. Yeah? They have a closet on the street, yeah? And I want to go there, and there was a guy I like very much. He a journalist. He comes out and he has 10 Blu-rays with him, and he's give it to me. And so it was a little bit not my. Then when I was in the closet, it was not my room anymore. Yeah. So for 2 years it was better here in New York.
I think Isabelle Huppert took more DVDs than you did, so you know, it's competition.
Yeah, that's right. I met Isabelle Huppert, we talked about that, and she has a small suitcase with her. It was in the airport of Odessa 2 years before the war, and there was a festival, and I like this festival because in Odessa you have this staircase from Potemkin, from Potemkin, and there's the open air cinema for the opening night, and you sit there, and 2 years later the Russians are bombing something which is their myth and their legend and their heritage. So they're crazy. Yeah, so, but she awarded an award there, Isabelle Huppert, and we were in the same plane back to Berlin, and she from Berlin then to Paris. And she showed me a small suitcase. It was like I have a suitcase when I was 6 years old with matchbox cars. Yeah, it's like a small suitcase. So I have my matchbox cars everywhere. Yeah? And she has a suitcase, and she opened it, and it was full of DVDs and Blu-rays. And I said, this I told Paula Beer, and I said to her, don't come to my office with critics. Buy yourself a suitcase. This is better with DVDs.
I'm going to ask one final question, and we can talk to the audience. It's something we vaguely discussed, but wanted to hear more about the relationship between Paula and Barbara. You worked with Barbara like many times and with Paula Beer many times, but pairing them as a sort of a mother-daughter relationship. They're not biologically family, but they become a mother and a daughter. And I wanted to hear about the relationship that you created for them in the film.
They never played together before, yeah, so both of them. And now it's not for TV, so I can tell some things, some secrets. For me, I have the feeling when I make my first movie with Barbara Auer, she was at the end of 30, yes, at 38 or something, was the state I'm in. Yeah? Is young, and now she is 25 years older, and Paula Beer is a young actress. And I thought when they have their first rehearsal, I can see that Barbara is watching in Paula herself 25 years ago. Yeah? And I don't want to comment this, but I'm really sure that both are using this for their mother and daughter relationship. Yeah, that they're, and when Barbara said me later that she's using is this, that there is also a jealousy. Yeah? That there's someone has fantastic skin, is young, could play naked, and so on. And this jealousy could be the reason that the original daughter had committed suicide. This is intelligent reflection of an actor, and it's not. She's never told me this. I can feel it, but they never told me those kind of reflections during our rehearsals, because when they pronounce it, can articulate it, it will dying, this feeling. But both, I have the feeling both are playing with this, yeah? with the love and jealousy, and about a mother and a daughter who has to play piano, who has to be the best in school, and then she hang herself on a tree. Yeah? So this was the thing which was behind and under the surface, and I like this. Yeah.
I mean, I love them together. It's
yeah, and they Paula trusted her totally, but she's playing also a little bit mistrust. It's too much. Yeah? So they have a distance, yeah? And I like this. Yeah? You know, there are so many actors who are their behavior during shooting is like if they make holidays. Yeah? They're sitting there and talking about the next vacancy and green smoothies and so on the whole time. Yeah? And I like those kind of actors who take a book and go into their trailers and be by for themselves. Yeah? For shooting is not vacancy. It's not a trailer park or something like that.
So if anyone is an actor in the audience, now you know what to do to impress Christian. Bring a book. We have time for a couple of questions. There's someone here with, right there.
Thank you for the film. It was beautiful. And I just have a question that maybe is a ridiculous one, but it's about the title. What is called Miroirs No. 3? And thinking on that, I was thinking on what about Miroirs No. 1 and No. 2? Just that the first question. And another one, it is related with something that you told before, like a couple of days ago, that you are a writer, filmmaker, and an avid reader. And today I saw, of course, a reference to Mark Twain that was also quoted, or there was a quotation also on Barbara. So just those two questions. Thank you.
That's good. When I have made the decision, the title Miroir No. 3, I went to the producers, these fantastic producers who give me 25,000 euros for the final scene, and said the title of the movie is Miroir No. 3. No, they say, no. Yeah? Everybody will ask where's number 1 and number 2. Yeah? So, yeah? And I said to them, do you know the story of Marilyn Monroe? She was asked, what are you wearing in the night, a shirt or a pajama? Yeah? And she said, I'm wearing Chanel No. 5. Yeah? And they start laughing, and they forgot their criticize. Yeah? Miroir No. 3 in this moment was Chanel No. 5 for them. Yeah? It's like a perfume. And nobody's asking, I said to them, nobody asked to, and Chanel No. 4 is also very good. No, nobody's asking this, yeah, so, yeah. And this was my trick, yeah, so, yeah. And the Miroir No. 3 is just a part of a music by Maurice Ravel. And I like this title, because it's I don't like titles where there are not so many good film titles in the history of cinema. Yeah? But you take them like your name. Mein Christian is also a very boring name, yeah, but it's okay. It's a name, yeah? And it's boring. Yeah, Christian. I got, yeah. So okay, Christian Bale. Well, it's a good name. Yeah. So yeah. yeah. So and the second was this Mark Twain. I grew up in a city near Düsseldorf, a small village near Düsseldorf. Düsseldorf is a city at the river Rhine. This is the biggest river in Germany. It's one of the rivers where many ships are on. It's an infrastructure river who connected Amsterdam with Germany, with Cologne, Düsseldorf, and so on, and the Ruhrgebiet, Duisburg. And when I was very young, and sometimes I hate my parents, and this sometimes means sometimes a week, yeah? I'd take my bicycle and go to the River Rhine, yeah? To be alone and to dream a little bit, yeah? Dream me away. Yeah? I look at the ships and they're going to Amsterdam, and perhaps they go later, the things go to USA or Norway. Yeah? And so this was freedom. And in this time I read Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn, the Mississippi, yeah? And this was something, and it's always in my mind that for me, Huckleberry Finn and the Mark Twain and the Tom Sawyer is for me freedom, yeah? Freedom and the desire to come out of this life for a moment, yeah? And therefore, it's in Barbara. She's also reading Tom Sawyer, and here in this movie where Barbara, she's playing Betty. She's also reading. I think it's coming always. I like it when she's talking about Tom Sawyer. And his painting of the fence, I love this. She's also very good. She has a good voice. And when I will catch a flu, heißt das a flu? Catch a flu? The flu with fever and so on. Yeah, it's okay. And catch a flu next time. I will ask her if she can come to me and read Mark Twain for me. Yeah. So. Yeah.
I think we have time for a final question. There's someone here? Yeah. Yeah. You? Yes.
Hello. This was such a beautiful, very gentle film. And you said something about politics that really stuck with me, about the films of destruction and whatnot. And I was wondering, because this film really, it was so comforting to watch right now, because you're right, it's kind of crazy right now. And I was wondering if you were noticing in your observations kind of life and where we're at, if we kind of crave almost this gentle, nurturing approach where people kind of come together, as you say, to make something kind of very human. And I was wondering if you can kind of expand on whether we're at a time, why so much a film like this and not a film of destruction kind of has this impact, this gentility and nurture, I guess, if you can kind of expand on that a little bit.
One of my favorite shorts is by Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, when they try to sell Christmas trees, yeah, in Los Angeles, and this movie is a movie about complete destruction, yeah? And this gives, you know this, that they all are laughing. The police at the end. This was an anarchistic situation. And this kind of destruction is sometimes great. Yeah? It's not the same like in James Bond, where we talked about a movie by John Frankenheimer, Ronin, 2 days together. And I like in Ronin, the destruction in Ronin costs the life of people. Yeah? When they have a chase in Marseille, yeah? They take a shortcut with 150 miles, yeah, into a street with many people. many people are dying in this movie, huh? And I like this, but because in the movies before, nobody's dying when they have to make a chase, and so destruction and is something. Sometimes it is something which a society needs, yeah? But mostly nowadays, for me, is destruction. Sometimes not nowadays, destruction is something that the fascists, they want to make tabula rasa. Yeah, this is a thing which I'm anxious. Yeah? They want to take the complexity out of the world. They want to mixture the world. They want to, you know, I'm from Germany and I'm living in Berlin. And when you see the architect plans of the fascists between 33, Albert Speer, and 45, they make a tabula rasa. They want to take everything away and rebuild it new. Yeah? They build ballrooms and so on, like in USA too. Yeah? And so they are this kind of fascistic destruction. It's something. It's not the destruction to let new wind in relations which are fixed for all time. Yeah? That's not the same. Yeah? And therefore, I like in the last time I like movies who are a little bit slow, who try to reflect, who are complicated, and who are simple in the same moment, but not they try to repair some things. Just a washing machine or a finger in a hospital, yeah? And so this is the politics I described my daughter, and I hope she understands this. Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing this amazing washing machine.
Thank you.